Folks, welcome home. Another edition of Cooking with Blondes. One of my favorite blondes to cook with now is Kathleen. Hello, Kathleen.
Hi, guys.
She's a shaker right here at Shakers, the magnificent Shakers, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we are doing some balls today.
Yes.
Okay, so we're doing meatballs two different ways, and since we love the Mediterranean, we're going to do the Italian style first, and please submit your questions and queries and comments any way you like. But this is something I was taught a gazillion years ago. We've got some Sicilian style breadcrumbs. These we did in-house, so oregano, just a touch of basil, but a whole lot of garlic that's in here as well. And salt and pepper, really groovy kind of things. We took some fine bread from the Shortino's, fine Italian bread company in town. We're going to take about the same amount that you used in our last video. If you happen to see it, we have recently done a piece on meatloaf, traditional meatloaf, and we use the same meat. And this is an 80-20 blend, so it's 80% of course meat and 20% fat. The fat really helps in these things. I think that if you use something that's like 90%, 10%, you're going to have a little bit of a dry issue taking place. I like the fat that's in here. It conveys itself so much as far as the flavor goes. It also keeps it a little bit moisture, which is very important in this dish. So about that amount in here, and while you're doing that, I'm going to take this half of an onion, and it doesn't matter if it is red or white or yellow, it just doesn't matter. Use any onion that you want to use. Obviously we covered, if you watch our series, we covered different types of onions having different flavor profiles and doing different things. This though is the ubiquitous onion that we use for almost everything at Shakers. So put that up for a moment, turn my deck a little bit, and again do this little machine gun telly kind of thing here. Now, when we do things like meatloaf, we have coarser pieces, right? Since we're doing this as a ball, we have less surface area, right? So this is going to be a little bit smaller for the onion that's going to be on the inside. While I'm doing this, if you want to take about a third of that amount and put that in there, maybe not even, let's say 25% max. And then, since we covered how to break an egg, let's have you do one egg in this as well. And again, we like to break an egg on a flat surface first, like this plate. Lovely, lovely. I'll take that remnant if you don't mind.
Thank you.
Sure. The essence of onion in the air. All right, so only about half of this, maybe not even, so like that. See that the next meatball, which will be the Greek style. A little garlic would be important because of course it is Italian, right?
Yes.
So if you smash them first, they're going to be, I think, a little more flavorful and sweeter than if you just cut them first and stick them in. If you want to use a garlic press, please feel free. Whatever you want to use in your kitchen that you have available is the way to go. If you just want to use garlic powder or granulated, you can certainly do that as well. And then I take some parsley, and it doesn't matter if it's curly or flat leaf as far as the flavor, because the flavor is pretty much consistent with both products. And this is probably the equivalent to just under 2 tablespoons worth. Feel free to put more on if you like. And since we have these lovely little chives here, take some of these, get that in there as well. Now typically we just use these for presentation. It's kind of like antenna that, you order something here and it goes out and you got these 2 little things that stick up. That literally just look like antennas on a lobster or something. But there's so much flavor that goes along with any type of green onion. And we do traditional green onions here as well, but each onion is just a little bit different, and it all depends upon what you like as far as what you put in your dish. All right, so little oregano in there as well. I'm a big fan of oregano for a lot of things, and some, of course, that come from a strict Italian background might say, well, it doesn't belong there. I kind of think it does. And since it's my joint, that's what salt, a little more salt, and then often I use a Romano blend. This is just Parmesan. I use this as kind of a binder on the inside. Flame on. Euphemistically, we're using induction here. So just some extra virgin olive oil in this pan. We just want to get these started. They are going to finish in the oven though. Nice and shimmery. All right, so while that's getting warm, what I want you to do is make these into balls.
Okay.
So you got the gloves on. The thing about these is don't push them too hard, right? So looking about something that's kind of like a golf ball size, so just like that. So it's formed like that, just enough that it's going to stick together, right? Mm-hmm. If you push them too much, well, you don't want that. Okay, so let me get a piece of wax in here. It feels so satisfying, doesn't it? Roll those balls around. It's just... And again, if you want these to be hot balls, you can. So at Shakers, we are well known for our Cajun meatballs. We've had them here for almost 4 decades. We could not take them off the menu if we wanted to. People would just be revolting. And those we do with some chili peppers inside, and paprika and cayenne, and use crystal hot sauce and a variety of things like that. So they don't have to be all exactly the same size. We're not cooking for the queen. She's dead anyway. So once you start making them larger than this, you need to have more binder in there. So more cheese, more egg, more something, more bread, whatever for a binder to keep together, just because the density is going to shift quite a bit. So we're starting to shimmer here. As I move the oil, you can see how it... See little waves? It's almost like a military plane taking off. You see little waves in the air. Sure. So while this is happening, we're about 30 seconds away, and I'm going to then put the balls in there to start them off. Superlative job with this.
Thank you.
Now, I know some people that literally roll these in flour ahead of time as well. I prefer not to. If that's what you want to do with them, by all means, again, make it your own. All right, so. Sizzle, sizzle. So while these are starting over here, I am going to start our sauce with this. So I actually kind of began this earlier today. We took a bunch of our tomatoes and we mulched those down. And then I just got oregano and basil and onion and garlic in here. And that is really the essence of our ragu for this. If you wanted to get a tomato sauce commercially, I mean, Newman makes a fine product. It might be a little heavy on sugar sometimes. Rao makes a fine product. There's a variety of other things out there. Use whatever you like. But since we're a restaurant, we make it here. It's important not to overwork your pan or have too much in there. This is my last ball at this moment right there. And those, you can take a roll if you want to. Understand this goes on the side. How about one of these? Excellent. So as you can see, the top down, you can see the olive oil over on one side. Just blend this together. See some garlic in there. You see the herbs, so a little parsley, the oregano, touch of basil. Yum, yum, and yum. We're going to take some fettuccine, boil off some fettuccine in a few minutes, and then that will be our presentation for this over the fettuccine. It would just be lovely. Lovely. Is that having fun there?
Yeah.
You're doing a great job. It's like you've done this all your life.
Thanks.
No pithy comments?
No, I don't have any.
All right. Once again, from my perspective, this is an ultimate comfort food. Honestly.
Yes.
So meatballs, pasta, meatballs, whatever you want to do. Delicious. Have great appetite all by themselves. So when you shake it like this and they start to free up and move by themselves, that's a good time to turn them over. So, and I'll let you do this. So get underneath, rather than squeeze aside, get underneath a little bit, and then rotate it like that.
Okay.
Excellent. Thanks, Kathleen.
Yeah.
So while she's doing that, I've turned down our tomato sauce here. So we are at 250. Now I put this down to 160 degrees. I just want to keep this at the right point. So when it comes together, it's not going to be a shock to those gentle balls. That we want to keep them, everything moving at the same consistent kind of speed and flavor. Okay, so in about a minute or two, what I want you to do is take these again, nestle from the bottom, and put them in here.
Okay.
Watch your drops though, because they're not fully formed yet, so you gotta do service to service kind of thing.
Gotta be gentle.
Gentle with those balls.
Gentle with the balls.
So we have a couple options here. Once this is filled, we can either keep these here just stovetop and let them go that way, or we can put these in the oven. Anybody have a preference?
Stovetop.
Stovetop!
Yeah.
This is Body's voice in the background is our videographer, Brooke. Hello, Brooke.
Hello.
I'm going to shake that pan a little bit. I might help to break that little bond a little bit too.
Okay.
And you know what? If they break, that's okay. I mean, they're your balls. Do it the way you want. And if your guests don't appreciate what you've done for them, well, you need different tests, I suppose. Lovely.
Amazing.
So we just kind of take that down for the moment, let that sit there. And again, these are just going to work their magic for a few short minutes or more. I'd say probably 20 minutes of these to be cooked all the way through. Obviously, we have to rotate these, right? Get it just consistent kind of flavor, and we're fine. Now let's go right ahead and move into our meatballs, right? Same kind of concept. We can take the remainder of your beef right here into that same lovely pan that you got going on. Now, I'm going to use some green onions for this dish, in addition to the onion that we had cut from our last dish. So again, fold your fingers forward like that so you don't cut them off. Nobody wants to have fingertips in their food. Well, I don't anyway. There are some, I suppose. So I'm not doing the entire product, but just enough to kind of mesh this together with the other onions, and that's going to go, of course, to the kathleen. There's a few different names to these as well, depending on which part of Greece that you're from. But this is very similar to what my grandmother used to make. she was Greek, so there you go. If you don't mind smashing this last egg.
Yep.
Perfect. Just a couple of cloves. If you cannot find Greek oregano, you can only find Mexican oregano, which is what you probably do find in most markets. That's fine. If you have fresh oregano, all the better, but it is not that time of year for us in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Right, so here we have the yellow onion, we've got some green onion, and we have some garlic. That's all going to play together very nicely. And because this is Greek, we're going to use oregano. Much oregano. Need a touch. And because it is, of course, meat, we need to have some salt in there. Just some kosher salt, like that. And lastly, to really bring this whole concept home, we're going to take some mint. We do have some fresh mint in-house. We use this, of course, for mojitos and things like that. There's a variety of different styles of mint available. The reality is, to me, it doesn't matter if you're using spearmint or basil mint or anything else. There's all sorts of flavors of mint. Again, use the one that you want to use. So this would be a very mint-heavy dish. And if you're doing, traditionally this would be made with lamb. And the mint and the lamb are just outstanding together. I do, however, like the effect of beef as well. If you want to use a blend of beef with a small amount of pork, again, make it your own. It's all acceptable. It's the way you like it. Green, all right. Then, just because we can and should, a little bit of parsley. Even push them down a little bit so they become kind of like, well, they're not round anymore, they're not spherical, they're kind of almost oblong in a way. And this is a dish that probably would benefit a little bit from having a little bit of flour on the backside, so why don't we go ahead and do that? Okay. Cleverly labeled yours flour. This is just a basic all-purpose flour. So what we're going to do is get a different mixing bowl. And so while that's happening, Kathleen, take these and just roll this like this. I don't want to be the only person having fun here, Kathleen, so I want you to roll the balls around as well.
Okay.
I guarantee you're going to have some miraculous ones around sometime.
No.
All right, from this point on, you're the one dusting.
Okie doke.
Add some more oil over here. Again, extra virgin olive oil. Not concerned about that being bitter. Closer for you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Sure smells good in here, doesn't it?
It does. It definitely does.
Yes, as a purist, you probably want to grab a different pan with no cracklings in the bottom, but again, that's not us today. So then we're going to take them and just kind of gently flatten these guys a little bit. Not completely flat, but just a little push. Why, you ask? Well, you have a little more surface area that way, so they cook a little bit better. and because it's a tradition. I'm sure they had a reason back a few hundred years ago. So now that we're at the right temperature for this, I'm just going to drop these lovely little things into here. If you are concerned about getting your fingertips in the oil, we prefer, to use a tablespoon. You can take a large service spoon, perhaps, something just like this, and transfer it there, and then move that guy right to there, and that way you don't have to be concerned about getting burnt. Right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so just to see how easy that portion is, how about if you were to take this guy right here, Kathleen, and stick it in. So we'll move that like that way, and stick it right over there.
Okay.
So here we got Cookin with Blondes. This is our token blonde today is Cookin. So our sous chef has just walked in, and shortly, Kath will be making a cage-style porchetta, or porchetta, if you prefer. So we're just going to not overwork our pan. We've got a nice amount going on there. We have less than we had in the last batch. The last batch didn't have any flour on, so I want to gain a little traction with that. In the meantime, if you want to go ahead and roll the rest of these down, put these in something. For pizzas here, we use this for actually a variety of things. And my thought on most cookware is that things really have multi-purpose. It's not just one directional. If you want to put a lid on here, because you can't find your lid at the moment or something else, I mean, this works just perfectly well. Just make sure that you don't pick it up when it's hot, because you're not going to like that. So,
Still want me to flour?
yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh. No, it doesn't matter if it's King Arthur or Gold Medal or Pillsbury. Kind of all-purpose flour is what you want to use. You told me that you want to use buckwheat flour. Well, good for you. Whatever you want to have available is what you should use. And we don't need wax paper here because we are dusting with flour. The flour is going to be a little barrier between that so they will not stick. The commandment, they shall not stick. Right? If you want to roll, I'll dust. How's that?
Okay.
Here, use it, right? The smells are incredible. It's the garlic, it's the mint, it's the parsley, the oregano. This is just so dynamic. As is this, by the way, but completely different smell, completely different style. And these, again, the Italian style, we have designs that have been going along with this tomato and with the pasta product. This is just the standalone as just an appetizer by itself. So perhaps sometime in the future we'll do some goat balls as well. So goat is something that is not utilized as much as it could be in the U.S., but you get out of this country and you'll find it everywhere. I mean, the places I've been to and traveled in Central and South America and Mexico, it is just all over, and it is just remarkable. Piece of parchment stick over here. It's almost like a little handle going on. That's all good. A little tap down. Not smushy, but a little tap down. Here's our quality control time as well as we're setting this up. And what I really like to do ahead of time is I like to make these and put these in the cooler for half an hour, whatever. You can use the night before if you want. But the longer they sit, I think actually just the better that they're going to be. So we're nearing the end here. The end is near, as they say. Anybody in our TV audience have any questions? I guess not. All right, there we are. we are done with that and that. And now, if you don't mind, again, the same thing. Take our tongs, really nestle, right? So don't grabby, nestle and turn.
Okay.
Because these will spend their entire life inside of that pan. A little shaky from time to time. Everybody happy? Move it around. Love that. All right, so these we can put off to the side. Here, again, use it lid. High plate, hot. We need a little more water in there. So, thanks water, please.
Yes.
Half of that amount.
Yeah.
Cool. So these will stand together very nicely. Yay. Cool. So we're at 420. We can back this down a little bit. Down to 250. Right on top is great. All right, now to recover some of the temperature that we lost by adding fresh water. So turn it up. Put the lid on top with the lid on it. And see what happens there. In the meantime, Kathleen, if you don't mind, let's grab this semi-damp towel here and clean our deck. In a commercial kitchen, just like at home, you should always be concerned about sanitation. It's very important. You don't want to poison your guests at all. Okay, so we're 170 degrees on this, and we're nice and hot. We're over 200 degrees on that, so it's going to cook well. We can actually back this down a little bit. The longer it cooks, the more flavor is going to come inside of these things, right? And we're done with this pan as well. Happy day at Shakers. So, you're going to ask me what to drink with these. Anything you like. I'm a huge advocate and proponent of wine with any food. And this can go almost anywhere you want it to go because it is beef and you would think about red with that. Pasta sauce certainly possibly says red. Possible either way whatsoever. So, whichever wine you like. The Greek, however, in this is really saying to me white wine. So, with the mint, certainly the parsley, I think that's the way to go on that. Just roll them around a little bit like that so you get all sides exposed to the oil. If you want to use a pair of tongs for this, you certainly can. Slotted spoon, we get some people that are just exploring cooking now and they'll say, well, I don't have this spoon, I've got that. That's fine. Whatever you can use, whatever you're comfortable working with is what you should do. Don't go out of your way to get something else or a dish that is as simple as either one of these. Let's test one to make sure that it's cooked. Please feel free just to. Well, first, it's going to burn you here, but I want to make sure it's not on the inside. So, thoroughly cooked is what we're looking for. Here's our little test. Have some wine. Cool. All right, so our pasta is just about done. At this point, I'm going to drain it off. And one of the things that I like to do with this, if you have your own basket inside of whatever pot you're using, that's great. But in either regard, I'm going to walk this over towards the sink. I'm going to drain it off, put it back into the pan, so we're not getting water anywhere else. So we are completely cooked with that. Grab our service bowls here. This is a dish that we're not overly concerned about as far as making a mess or anything else, right? If you want to, that's cool, but you don't have to. So we'll take a little bit of balsamic here. So we have a balsamic reduction sauce that we make. We're going to stick that in the bottom. And all I want you to do now is to take this, Kathleen, and take the amount that you want. I'm going to hit this with just a little bit of oil first. And just kind of grab over here, Brooke. Just a touch. Olive oil goodness. and then like that, and put it down and kind of either rotate your hand or rotate the bowl. Whichever's easiest for you. Okay? Okay. I need a little more.
More?
Because you hungry people, right?
Yes.
All right, now this, what I would do is I would take some of these balls, and again, you can arrange this any way you want. I'd have some on top, certainly, and I got a few around the periphery, and then just to take some of this lovely little sauce and use that as well.
Okay.
So we don't want a soup here, but we want a really nice wet stock. So I'd recommend a garnish for any dish you possibly can. And of course, I'd want to clean up that. Just like, for those women who put makeup on, you want to do the best presentation you can. Right?
Yes.
Absolutely. And just a little bit of that around the outside as well. I don't mind this on the ridges on the shoulders. Some do. I don't mind that out there. If you don't want to have it, you don't have to. And then just to finish, a little bit of salt. And if you're so inclined, just a little bit of black pepper. And there you are, Kathleen. So, Cooking with Blondes, here we are. A very simple, classic Italian dish. So, Italian-style meatballs with some fettuccine and a very easy little ragu that we made as well. Hope you enjoy that. Hope to see you soon. Cheers. So all I want you to do, Kathleen, is to take these leaves and separate them from the stemmies, and I'm just going to put those down there, just kind of like that.
Okay.
This will keep separate. Let's give you a crown. So let's make sure that we're cooked here before we serve them to our guests. Hey, look at that. It's cooked. Sure looks delicious.
Looks really good.
You don't use it all.
No.
Stop whenever you think it's right.
Okay.
Now these, I'd recommend taking a paper towel. And what I would like you to do is to take these out here, nestle them here for a minute, and I'm going to build something here. So I'd like to do concentric circles.
Okay.
Okay. I made some taste this. Sure smells good. How's that?
Amazing.
Okay, so use a variety of different sauces, but you don't have to. This is just going to be so yummy just the way it is. And I think we're pretty happy with that. I would be happy with that. So we did two comfort food, two different balls, different ways, the Italian style and a riff on the Greek style. And how did you have fun?
Oh, wonderful.
You had a lot of fun, didn't you? That's
Yeah.
how you had it. You had
Yes.
a lot of, okay. Cool. All right, so here we are closing out this episode of Cooking with Blondes. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you take it upon yourselves to do this at home for yourselves and the people that you love. Cooking is one of the best things you can possibly do for other people and for yourself. It's great therapy. Cheers.